I'm so fat now. I couldn't do a push-up today.
Oh, really?
And I'm not sure. It might be because I'm having this weird, sharp nerve pain in my arm.
In your elbow?
In my arm, it like travels down like a line.
Yeah.
Am I going to die?
Your left arm?
Yeah. Been happening for a while.
I mean, is that a heart attack?
I don't think so, because
I've been having a weird thing too.
It started on Saturday, and now it's quite painful throughout the day. It'll just hit me like a lightning strike.
Possibly a pinched nerve?
I think it's a pinched nerve. It feels like a nerve thing.
Sciatica? So
that's why I was trying to do a push-up. I was like, let's use these muscles. And then I just laid on the floor because I couldn't do it. And I was like, oh, man. And then I planked.
Right on the fucking laptop. Who's the boss?
I'm Jason.
I'm Jules.
And we doing Filmographies. Hey. We didn't even talk about what we're going to do. Let's do the lonely lady first.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Cool.
Fuck. This is Oh, hey, you know what, guys? This is the Ray Liotta run. That's right. Ray Liotta.
Is this the first one?
Yeah.
In order?
Well, we couldn't find Crazy Times.
So this is our... Yeah, this is... So, yeah. Oh, Jesus. It
hurts so much.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. Let me ask you how... Okay, so I'm looking at The Lonely Lady.
Now, this was 83?
Yeah. Filmed in 82. Looks to me like it was filmed in 74.
Okay.
Did you feel that way too?
Kind of.
It has a really weird 70s look to it.
And it's like partially U.S. and partially like London or England, right? I mean, it says at the end, filmed on location in like London and United States. But then like every fucking name in the credit that wasn't an actor was like Luigi or some other Italian name. It was like 25 Luigis. I was like, what the hell?
That's weird. You've got a lot of notes for this thing.
Well, I mean, they're only one-sided.
All right, it's drama romance. Hour and 32 minutes. It has a 3.1 on IMDb, but a 4.5 out of 5 on Etsy?
That makes sense.
76% liked this movie of Google users. A successful screenwriter shocks everyone by telling exactly how she reached the top during a televised awards ceremony.
Did you read any of the...
That's a bad synopsis. That's like...
that is.
Hey,
that doesn't
guys,
make any sense.
Hey, guys, the last 5 minutes of the movie is how we're going to describe the movie.
We're going to give you the payoff. Did you read any of the trivia?
No, I mean, I looked into it. I hope you have some good trivia.
Well... For one thing, I didn't realize the Razzies went this far back.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Because she won one
in 1981
for Butterfly.
Yep, an incest
then this
movie.
one, and this was her last movie.
She's in a few others, like smaller roles.
Smaller roles, yeah. This was her last leading role. Apparently, since we've already spoiled the climax, originally she was going to receive the award naked with like an Oscar painted on her body with the head in her crotch. I guess.
That's terrible.
Isn't it? And then one other fact that I think is very important to establish. So it stars Pia Zadora.
Yeah.
Who even called this movie a mix between Emmanuel and something else. I can't remember what.
Rocky.
And there was a point during this movie where I was like, this is just like a French softcore. The hell is this, you know?
I was like, is this a sex farce? It's not like funny or charming though.
No. So, and I apologize if I get this wrong. Meshulam Rickless, her Pia Zadora's real-life billionaire husband, reportedly spent $5 million to make this, and then paid Universal Pictures another several million to get theatrical release in the U.S.
Pretty wild, man.
Isn't it?
When you find out that, it kind of all makes sense.
You know, I'll say this up front, because this is going to be risque. I kind of enjoyed this movie. I can see where if done maybe like now or more recently, or done better back then, this could have been like, like a reputable film.
I think, who directed this fucking thing? Did they do anything else?
Good question.
Directed by Peter Sasti.
No, at first I thought this was a made-for-TV movie based on the beginning.
Yeah.
And then titties came out and I was like, oh, no, this isn't.
This one's fat with titties. It's crazy.
There's titties galore in here, my friend.
Oh, this guy made some movies.
Really?
I guess so.
Who wrote it?
Well, it's based on a Harold Robbins book. Apparently, he was a very popular writer.
Yeah, and I don't think they adapted another one of his books until like 2003 or something. This was the final filmed adaptation of a Harold Robbins novel for almost 20 years.
Really?
Until Body Parts in 2001.
Is that a Richard Grieco movie?
It's actually called Harold Robbins' Body Parts. It's got Richard Grieco.
Nice. I've seen the box and I was like, what is this piece of shit? So, I mean, her husband, the big hoopla was when she was getting nominated for Razzies, she was also won like Best Young Actress, Best
really?
New Actress.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if it was for this or the other one, but her husband spent a ton of money flying the voters out for special private screenings, and they say he bought it. Because for sure, she's not a good actress. She can almost do something, but not really. She's very flat.
Don't be ridiculous.
So this movie, so you were saying you thought it could have been good.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, if you did put like a Sally Fields or somebody in the role and kind of tighten it up. There's lingering shots. There's stuff that's just kind of like stretched out and doesn't do much. Yeah, and also kind of pull back. You don't have to be so on the nose with some of the shit they're doing in here. So it opens up, right? And it's outside of like a fake Oscars.
Yeah.
First, I thought the statues were holding their heads aloft.
Okay.
But they're masks, right? And there's even a line in there where one person's like, "Oh, who's that lady?" And she goes, "Oh, the one by herself? She must be a nobody because she doesn't have a..."
That's what they say at the end, too.
It doubles back.
Yeah.
Because they didn't show you who they were talking about.
Okay.
And then they're like, "Welcome to the awards presentation ceremony." Like they didn't come up with a name or anything. And then you're outside the event, and then it seems like it transitions inside, except now we're in a school gymnasium. And I'm like, God,
I think it looked like a school outside too. It wasn't like it was the building at the end.
I don't know what.
Even though it's the same announcer for both things.
I mean, it was, but like when she's walking away, I think that was somewhere different.
Okay.
The front, I mean, it looked like an airport or I don't know, a government building or something stupid.
Very much looked like a school. And I was like, why are they doing an awards ceremony in a school? Because she's a high school student is the answer.
At that point, yeah.
And I don't understand who all is getting awards because they cut her off.
It's for writing, right?
Yeah.
Or what? I don't know.
Yeah, is it the like talent show?
Best basketball dunker up next? I mean, what is it? Just every kid in school category or something? I don't know. So yeah, she's doing her thing, and people actually like her.
Yeah, they seem to like her stories.
And then the teacher was just like cock block.
Shut it right down. She's barely into her speech. And did you see our buddy from All That Jazz?
I did.
I don't know his name.
Oh, did they go to school together?
Her, the extremely old man.
The redheaded guy.
Well, I mean, Pia Zadora is probably like 28 in this.
What guy are you talking about?
The guy, the gay piano player from All That Jazz. Yeah, but he's old as fuck. His hair is mostly gone.
But are you asking me if I saw him because he's in this scene?
He's in the whole fucking movie.
He went to school with her. Is that what you're telling me?
No, he's at the awards ceremony with her at the beginning.
In school?
Yes.
When she's in high school?
Yeah.
He's there?
He's there.
What is he doing?
I don't know. He's a director, right?
Of high school plays, and then...
Is he of high school plays?
Movie? I did not see him until much later into the film.
He's there in the beginning.
I did not notice that. I remember her friend, Howard...
Is that the guy that brings her to the party?
Uh-huh. He throws his hamburger down.
I was trying to figure out if that was her stepdad. He looks old.
It's
not.
No, he's her friend.
You have home by 1 o'clock, Bernie, please.
Sure, Mrs. Randall, I will.
All right.
Is he he wants to be with her?
Probably.
Okay, so they go to the awards ceremony. She wins. That guy cuts her off, and then she goes to the party.
Yeah, then they go to this indoor pool party or something. It's like, are they outside? I don't know.
They're hanging. I mean, Ray Liotta, we meet Ray Liotta immediately.
Yeah.
Is he rolling a joint or
He's
smoking a
weed.
joint? Yeah.
Hey, man.
Take it easy on the weed, Joe. His parents really get uptight.
And it seems like they're drinking like Michelobes. They've got like glass bottles with like that foil top.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that guy's got a beer. This guy's got a beer. Like, what?
Dude, how about that pan in on the scene where she's dancing with that guy she came?
Oh my god!
Or is she dancing with the guy she hangs out with?
She's dancing with that kid who's like, hey, my dad's a writer. It's like an establishing shot, just like seeing the party.
Slow zoom in.
They are dancing like fucking maniacs. And then I'm like, they're gonna focus on. Oh, that's her. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then the friend Howard or whatever his name, Bernie, that's his name.
Seems like a Bernie.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
He's like leering from afar. So they're like jib-jabbing, and Bernie comes over with his hamburger, and the guy's like, you want something to eat? And she's like, yeah, hamburger? And he's like, I think a hot dog or something. And Bernie's like, what is her name? Jerry?
Oh, wow. You know what? I watched this whole thing. I don't have a clue what her name is.
Yeah, it's something like
Pia
Jerry.
Zadora.
Yeah, right. And he's like, I promised your mom I'd get you home.
I want to clock.
She's like, well, his dad's a writer, and I'm going to go meet him. And he throws his hamburger down. He's like, I'm leaving.
Yeah. That's why I was so mixed up about like what this guy's role is.
He never pops up again.
No.
Either. Well, the mom mentions
little meaty
him
boy
offhand later. So
I bet you he's at I bet you he's at that wedding that I didn't realize was a wedding.
for them,
But yeah, we'll
probably
we'll
in
get
the
there.
background.
I think he was there. There was quite a lot of young people there.
So then the guy is like, hey, why don't we go to, I'll meet you, you can meet my dad. I didn't realize this, but they were going to his house. So they get into his station wagon. Ray Liotta gets into the back with his dame, and she's holding her stupid trophy the whole time.
Why does it seems weird that he hangs out with Ray Liotta. Ray Liotta seems...
It makes no sense. In fact, my notes, I'm like, what the hell is going on in this group dichotomy, right? Ray Liotta's in the back with his lady. Pia Zadora is just sitting, clutching her trophy, looking out the window. And this Poindexter dude, he reminded me of...
Looks a little bit like Nick Kroll.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, he's no, this is way too young.
Yeah.
So Nick, Ray's in the back, Nick, making out with his lady, and he just pops out her titty, starts sucking on it.
I know. This is what did I write? I said Liotta just back there sucking tits.
Yeah. And then the guy's like, hey man, like, be cool or something. Ray Liotta reaches around and grabs Pia Zadora's tit. Gives her a good honk.
Yep.
And his friend's like, yo, man, what the hell? And he goes, you want to touch my girl?
No, I think he says, how would you feel if I was doing that to your girl?
Yeah, Cindy or whatever.
It's all right with me. Is it all right with you, honey?
I don't give a fuck.
And he looks over at Cindy and she's like, yeah, that's cool.
Let's rock.
And then he gives her the like nod and she starts making out with Nick Kroll like on his neck. Yeah, while he's driving.
I think he even like snaps at Pia Zadora like, be cool, Shirley. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
This is weird,
and
man.
Then she gives him head in the back of the car.
Oh man, maybe I missed that.
Yeah, he's like, huh? And he slowly moves, and then you can hear him in the back like, and it's like, if I were her, as soon as we got to a stoplight, I would have just, peace.
Yeah, those two don't seem fun. How are they so horned up, man?
And yeah, and the dude
they have each other.
He seems like a fucking dweeb.
Yeah,
by all accounts.
He seems perfectly nice.
Yeah,
seems like a nice dude.
Yeah, I mean, so then they get back to the house, and he's like, "Oh, weird, my dad's car's not here. I wonder where he is."
Yeah, where is her? It's late at night. I guess his dad likes to party. We never see that kid really either.
Well, they mention that later. Ray Liotta's like, "Get me some beer," and him and his lady just start getting naked, and they're going for the pool.
Yeah,
and she goes inside.
Nick Kroll's giving the tour.
Yep. Hey, here's my fancy house, and she's looking at his dad's study, his writing and shit. And then for some reason, she wanders outside.
Should be fine. It's a giant palatial mansion estate.
It's massive.
Ugh.
It's like Wayne Manor.
It's amazing.
In the Dark Knight movies. And so she apparently doesn't know where Ray and the lady are.
Nope, they're lurking in the pool.
And they see her coming out, and she walks right up to the edge of the pool and just is standing there, facing away from the pool, as you would do. And Ray's like, hey, go that way. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
He swims over and he pulls her into the water. And she's, gets wet, obviously, and then gets out just upset. And Ray Liotta's like, no, come here, and starts chasing her.
Yeah.
And she trips over a hose, and he tackles her, and he starts ripping her clothes off. And the girl in the pool, she's like, hey.
I do appreciate that the gravity of the situation did start to register on her face.
Yeah. And then Nick Kroll comes running down like, what's all this rape screaming I'm hearing?
Meanwhile, Ray Liotta's gripping this weird dick nozzle that the sprinkler has.
Because then Nick Kroll gets there and he just elbows him in the gut and he falls down.
Like a cheap suit.
He's just done.
He's out. He
tries to they show him try to get up at one point.
I've been knocked over just too hard.
Right. And so, yeah, he's got this weird big dick nozzle. It's like a fire hose nozzle. And he's like,
I'll teach you to be more friendly now.
Just starts molesting her.
Give her what he deserves, right?
Yeah. It's like, why are you so fucking hostile here?
Would you say molest? I mean, I think it would be like rape, using it as an apparatus to go
assault.
in.
Your daughter's been assaulted.
But not raped.
I don't know, man. Kind of seems like if you're just shoving something up there, it's pretty rapey. And Liotta, can we talk about Liotta's performance here?
Oh, it's...
Because it's over after this.
Yeah.
The point of watching this movie is over. He's scary.
Yes.
He's intense.
Yeah.
I got some great screenshots of that crazy face, dude.
It's funny because he's probably pretty fucking young.
He's like 28.
But he still feels like contemporary Ray Liotta to me.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll say this before we go any further. Without having any idea what this movie was about.
Yeah.
It's called The Lonely Lady. And it's got a young Ray Liotta in it. I thought it was going to be like some older lonely lady.
Yeah.
That he, like a Harold and Maude maybe kind of a thing. Or like a Driving Miss Daisy maybe kind of thing.
I kind of thought it was that, and like she went through a couple suitors in the movie.
Like
Ray Liotta was one of them.
Or that, yeah. I didn't know what to expect. And then after that scene, I'm like, we're off to the races. I don't know what this movie's about anymore. Because then the dad comes home and apparently breaks it up. We jump past any of that to her in bed.
Yeah.
And the doctor is like, he goes, your daughter's been assaulted. And she goes, but not raped. And who's going to believe us versus these Bel Air? What were they? Beverly Hills boys or whatever.
You think, so Liotta's a rich kid too?
Apparently.
Man, doesn't really feel like it.
It does not. He feels like this is what's going to land him in jail, and then he gets out in something wild.
Huh.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's like a fucking dirtbag.
Yeah.
By all accounts. In a way that is beyond his age, I would think, but also that you wouldn't necessarily come from privilege. Maybe he's rebelling. I don't know. But yeah, he's gone at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So the rich dad ends up popping over later, and he brings her award.
You left this behind.
Rolo tinfoil wrapped award.
Fake Oscar.
Awards are precious things. I should have brought it sooner.
And let's not, so she has a black eye and like blood trickling out of her mouth and stuff. Like nobody cleaned her up.
Well, and it's funny because even before that, when the doctor's like, you should report this, and and he goes, all right, good night. She goes,
Good night.
And he leaves. So then the rich dad comes back. His name is Walter. And is it just me, or is her mom kind of flirting a little bit with it?
Oh, I don't know.
She's like, oh no, her dad, he died young, and
he would be a nice older man for her mother.
and so they move on past that point in the conversation, but she brings it back like, oh, it was so hard raising her by myself. The guy's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna groom your sexually assaulted daughter.
Yo, what's up? This girl's in high school. She's looking pretty good. How old is he?
I don't know how old the actor is at this point, but I'm assuming it's weird because his kid is a high schooler.
But he's like late 50s, maybe early 60s.
So that's the
maybe
impression.
Mid 60s.
I'm getting like Hugh Hefner, just old as fuck.
But he is, and I mean it doesn't matter. But he's kind.
He's not. Yeah, no. He at first, he says, my son's going to be spending the rest of his school year in London. Or in England.
You know, it really wasn't
You'll probably stay there for a while and finish school.
Don't worry about it.
He sent him away, huh?
Yeah, so that's why we never see him again. Why we never see Ray Liotta again, I guess just because he's not his kid. And he's never mentioned again either. It would be incredibly traumatic, but it really is not even that important. It doesn't even need to have happened.
The rape?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At all. I thought it was going to be like a thing like, okay, the dad, now he's trying to do something and it's like demonic or I don't know, but no, he's just
She's
I don't even think
taken advantage of by men, except for I don't even know if I'd say it's being taken advantage of. It's just a insane assault.
That first one, absolutely. And I don't even feel like his intentions initially are to bed her.
Who? The
Pia Zadora.
No, who's gonna bed her?
Walter.
Okay, not with Ray Liotta.
No,
It's like I don't.
Yeah.
I think he thinks she's pretty. No, he's being kind.
I think he brought the statue back because he felt like, God, maybe there's some criminal liability. I should probably be a nice guy or whatever. But then he seems to take a general interest in.
As soon as he shows up the next time after she's healed, like what, he didn't want to look at her bruises and bloody face.
Well,
because he said we'll meet up in 5 weeks or something.
And it jumps immediately to them jogging, and it sort of seems like a mentor-mentee kind of a thing.
You must have someone like that, who guides you in your career path.
Well, I like Gabe Kaplan.
But then, no, he kisses her. It seems like they spent a lot of time together. And he kisses on her. And she tells her mom,
It's like, I love him. She's like, you can't do this. He's so old.
She even says,
I enjoy being with him. I admire him. I want to go to bed with him.
which is like the most childish way of saying I want to have sex with this guy.
Yeah.
I'm not listening to this. I am not listening to this.
I'm assuming at this point she's done with high school.
I don't know, man. Was that the end of high school maybe with the speech at the beginning?
Maybe instead of diplomas, you'd get a fucking fake trophy.
Well, no, but then his son went to school somewhere.
What
What the fuck is going on in this movie?
It's hard to say. I don't know.
Things that make you go,
Then it's like a hard cut to the wedding, right?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden,
I thought they were at a party,
I did too.
but it's their wedding?
It is, because she's in a black dress with like white trim, and she can't fill out that dress to save her life. She is swimming in that dress.
Yeah.
snip, snap.
And it's not even clear because we don't see them say their vows or anything. They're just at this cocktail party, and the guy's
People are
like,
congratulating.
"Congratulations!"
Yeah.
And I'm like,
And her mom's being nice.
"Yeah, oh, what do I call you now, Mother Pia Zadora?" And she goes, "Oh, just Janice or something." He goes, "Okay, Mother Janice," and she's like, "Oh God, rah, rah, rah," you know. And he meets a bunch of other old dudes, and they're like, "Oh yeah," and he goes to one guy. He's like, "Hey, who's mine in the store?"
My wife and my mother-in-law.
Oh, you're in deep trouble.
And then they're like, he's like, "Well, let's get out of here. Let's whisk away." And they go upstairs to have sex. And there's a real moment where on her face, you could tell she's kind of like, is it in yet?
She looks really pumped to be having sex.
Yeah.
This is the first time, right? They waited for the wedding night?
Apparently. Now, my question to you is he unable to get erect or does he prematurely ejaculate?
I don't know, because it was obviously very disappointing.
I'm sorry, Jerry. It's been a very tiring day.
It seems like he penetrates her. She kind of does a,
Maybe he softens up real fast.
maybe, because he's borderline in pain.
I'm surprised they didn't tell. Well, maybe that was an orgasm then.
Maybe.
Oh, what the fuck? So yeah, maybe I don't know.
I don't know.
But it was bad.
It was bad. And I will say this. He sounds like Seth MacFarlane
doing
his voice.
Yeah.
Which is another thing, because the teacher who gave her the award at the beginning, she had a British accent.
Yeah.
So that's what led me to believe, like, this is like a cheap production where they filmed Star Wars.
There's never like a moment where you're like, oh, they're in England.
No,
It
that's
seems
just
like
it.
it's all in California. Is it even supposed to be in California? It is,
Yes,
right?
yeah, because she says, he goes, why do you always write about stuff that isn't your life?
Oh, yeah,
She
she's
goes,
a valley girl,
who
right?
would want to read anything about the San Fernando Valley?
Yeah.
San Fernando, not Vernando, you fucking idiot.
Man.
So, and I always say, and I wrote this down. It's hard to tell if he's enjoying the sex or if it's causing him great pain because he's all the time, and it's unsettling. She has huge nipples.
She's pretty good looking.
Okay.
It starts the movie and I'm like, oh, here's this lady. And then as the movie went on, I was like, she's pretty cute.
She seems young throughout the whole
She does.
movie. There's never a point where I'm like,
This is the problem. It's so
Buying
confusing.
it.
You could have told me she's supposed to be 14 and I'd be like, yeah.
if this all happened in like over the course of a summer, I'd believe that almost.
Yeah.
A lot for a summer, but she's just the same throughout.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm assuming like a decade or more has passed.
You think that? I would say it's probably like 3 years.
3?
I don't know, man. Okay, so she fucking marries this guy. She's like, how do you become a screenwriter? How do you become
Right.
a screenwriter? And he's like, I'll show you. And
He takes her on a gig with him.
Yep, and then she immediately burns him by changing some dialogue.
Yes, but also,
I mean, I don't agree that it's a burn.
No.
That's how he saw it.
well, and then he burns her
He's like, fuck you, you're nothing.
because he's like, I'm going to use this. And he takes all the credit for it at their lunch, and she's just slamming the wine.
Yeah.
And then that's when we first meet Bandino or some shit is his last name.
Yeah.
DaCosta.
Oh, wow. Bandino to DaCosta.
Yeah, DaCosta. I don't remember. Maybe his first name is Bandino.
Vincent DaCosta. Good to meet you, Mrs. Thornton.
And
Bandino DaCosta.
Hey.
He does not look like a Bandino DaCosta.
I think he's in.
You could call him Paul Allen.
Is he the brother in, or brother-in-law in Scarface?
I'm going to say no, but I don't know.
Is he the brother-in-law in Carlito's Way?
Bantino da Costa. You're trying to think of like Cuban people? Like, what are you?
No, he reminds me of something, and I'm thinking it's Scarface, but I didn't actually look into it too much.
Joey, Saturday Night Fever.
So he kisses her. He's like, "Hey, I'm a guy, and I got a nightclub." And Walter's like,
I don't like that shit. For sure, bro. I don't like that shit.
And he's like, all right, I'm going to get out of here. And there's a couple of dudes at the table who are like,
oh, shit. I'm sorry. I'm getting him mixed up with the other guy she gets involved with.
The second guy.
The guy who's a very low-level actor.
Yes.
On this movie.
Is he the guy who approaches her?
Yeah, it's like, do you want to maybe get a drink? And she's like, I'll ask my husband.
Hi, Jerry Lee. George Valentine. I'm here doing a couple of days for Guy. They wanted me for soap, but I couldn't turn down a thorn.
Yeah, right. Because he had on like a wig or something.
Yeah, he looked terrible.
So then when we see him later, I'm like, I think that's the same guy. But so she kind of throws a hissy fit. Like, why did you take credit? And the guy, he seems hurt. He's like, you know, I don't know, man. It's like, respect, you got to find it. And I never found it. And so then they leave and she's like, it's funny. They go back home and she's like, you know, I'm sorry. And can we just go to bed? And he's like, you're drunk. And they're saying all of this, right? With the hose.
Oh, yeah. I saw the hose. Yeah.
Right there. Like they didn't bother to move the hose.
Well, maybe it's intentional. It's supposed to be symbolism.
Maybe.
Like this is him raping her.
Oh.
I don't fucking find no man.
Well, he's like, you're drunk. And she's like, we don't have to have sex. I guess that's when he leaves her. Because I think the next time we see her, she's in like a little studio office apartment.
Seems like she's still doing pretty all right.
And that's when I realized when we see Anthony Holland, who plays the character Guy, who was Paul and all that jazz.
Hold it, Audrey, hold it. Hospital number. Just give me a minute. Stan, will you give me some room?
As soon as he comes bebopping into that room,
yeah,
I'm like, is that motherfucker from...
Yeah, it's that guy. I was excited to see him.
I was delighted to see him. I hope this guy shows up, because he's got quite a filmography.
He dies in the late 90s, I think.
Oh, is that right?
Like 98, maybe?
So she's dating that actor guy, and he's actually married. He says that to her, and they're like, he's like, you want to go get a drink? Because they're at a party in like a theater or something. And she's like, no, but I'd love some pizza. And he goes, it's pizza time. And
He's like, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, so then they're immediately back at her studio making out, and they have sex.
They bone down.
They do.
And then
she's in the shower.
She is. She's cleaning. She's soaping up them titties.
And he opens up the door, and she just goes down on him.
Well, it takes longer than that. Like, he stands there for a minute.
True.
And like, I don't know. Somehow it seems like he's communicating to her that you better suck this dick.
Kind of.
And this is what I'm thinking while I'm watching this seems not fun for her. It seems like it'd be like waterboarding. They're directly under the steaming hot water.
Yeah. It's kind of blasting him in the face a little bit.
Yeah. All that water is going to run off the points of your body, your penis. It's going to just go flying into her face while she's got the dong in there. Yeah.
So it's going to hit up her nose probably. And I looked this up. That actor, his name is Jared Martin. He plays George. He's 6'3".
Yeah.
Pia Zadora is 5 even.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
she seems little.
She's lower. Her head barely reaches the bottom of his pecs.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it seem even like she's even younger.
Yeah.
Yet. But she mentions that George left her because guy's like, who's paying the rent on this place? And your husband? And she goes, nah, he walked out on me or something.
Man, she should really get that money. I mean, really.
Divorce him.
Yeah.
Because I think at this point, she's still using his last name or not?
I don't know.
So anyway, she's having a tryst with this actor dude. And I think he's sort of helping her shop around a little bit. She seems to be working.
Yeah.
She says she has an agent for short stories.
Yeah, just not screenplays, which she's working on.
So then she goes to the cast or the agent that we met earlier, the bald guy.
Yeah.
He's like,
that fucking guy.
Trying to grope her. And she's like, no, you fucking creep.
He looks like the bad guy from season 1 of True Detective, the guy who drives a lawnmower around.
And he goes, well, this is how it's done. She's like, well, then I'm leaving. And then she goes to another casting agent, and the reception's like, who you here for? And he's like, well, I want an agent. And she goes, well, are you with the guild?
They are.
Well, get the fuck out.
This is my favorite thing about that scene is the two of them are matching each other's horrible acting.
Yeah.
Like that lady seems like she's never acted a day in her life.
Yeah.
And she's just as flat as Pia Zadora in most of this.
Sorry.
Well, so was the creep's wife when they're leaving the movie theater earlier. Remember that?
What did that? I wrote that line down, man. She's like,
If I was ugly, I'd kill myself.
Yeah.
and then her husband looks at her and says, what do you mean if? And then she laughs.
Yeah, and she's out of his league, I would think. Otherwise, he's probably got money or something, I guess. But
this movie, most of these relationships seem pretty nice initially.
Yeah, especially with this guy.
It's like tender and friendly, and I don't know. It always seems like they're on equal footing.
The problem is that he's married. So what do you expect?
Yeah, I don't know why you'd get involved with a married guy.
And not only that, to jump back to the agent situation, why doesn't she just join the guild then?
Well, I don't think you can get in the guild unless you have published work. That's why you.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah,
I thought it was just like, we'll take your money. You don't have to just sign up. We don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, I think you have to basically be sponsored in by somebody higher up. That's
but
why her fucking husband is her ticket.
But she's got a script, right?
Yeah.
Is it the same script she carries throughout the movie until she writes the other one?
Is that what happens? Because I was going to say, she doesn't, it's not the one that she eventually gets made.
No. So, and that's another thing. So your husband kind of blew up at you. It's not justified, but it's understandable. He's at a point in his career where I'm sure he's kind of close to getting forced out.
Yeah, and he doesn't appreciate an 18-year-old just wandering in and tweaking his things.
In front of his people.
Yeah.
And yes, he does sort of take credit for it, but it wasn't like terrible, and you could still leverage.
He's a scumbag in that there's an age difference, but the dissolution of their relationship and what it fell apart on isn't really that big of a deal.
He doesn't make her do anything she doesn't want to do.
No.
He's not like violent. He's not, as far as we can tell, he's not cold. I mean, he's inclusive for the most part.
Yeah.
It's just, he does does her dirty a little bit. Not enough to
be included in the speech of fuck you later. Yeah.
And to like, I guess we don't know what happened, why he walked out, but that's what she says. So I'm assuming, he had enough, but
there's no depth to this. It was that fucking fight and then he's gone forever. There wasn't 10 minutes later in this movie where,
no.
and then their life within this movie.
No, that was their first fight.
And the last.
Apparently. And so, of course, she approaches George and she like, I'm preggy. I got a baby of your making inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
He goes,
Great. There's not a whole lot I can do about that, is there?
I don't have time for this.
Do me a favor, will you? Don't hang around here. I mean, think about me, will you?
Yeah, and she goes, well, come with me because I'm going to, take care of it. And he's like,
Look, I'm going away on vacation for a couple of days. I'm not even sure I'm going to be here.
But if you are...
All right, I'll help you.
And then he saunters off with the next little hot number, which, I mean, what do you expect? The guy's cheating on his wife.
Yeah, he's not.
No overtures that he's going to leave her. And then they even meet later on. So she goes to have the abortion, and her mom comes in like, "Hey, I'm looking for my daughter." And they go, "She ain't here." And she goes, "Oh, well, maybe she's using her maiden name for some odd reason." And sure enough, she is. And so they leave. And
honey, you have to take care of yourself. You can't just be going to the hospital. Mother, I had an abortion.
Let's get in the fucking car. Get some Taco Bell and shut the fuck up.
It's time for fourth meal.
I made some room. So,
what the fuck? Did you just say that? That was an abortion joke?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's wild, man. That was a good one. I'm horrified. That was a good one. This is off the cuff. Made some room. I'm sorry. I'm really focused on that.
That just came out. I'm debating whether or not I'm going to leave it in.
It's pretty good. I think you should.
They go to lunch. Perhaps immediately thereafter or a couple days later. It's hard to tell because it's her mom's birthday. And that's when she sees George and his wife. And I think they introduce him. And she's like, oh, who was that? He looks familiar. And they're having lunch. And then this is when Mancini, what is his name? What did I call him?
This dark-haired guy that you thought was from Scarface?
Yeah, DiCosta. And he's like, hey, I haven't seen you and everything. And no, let that out.
I just realized my fucking guts were spilling out of the bottom of my shirt. Tugged it down. Busted.
I
didn't think you'd see me with you staring directly at me while we're doing the podcast.
and so DaCosta's like, hey, I'm going to join y'all with some other guy. And do you mind? And she's like, no, this is great. It's my birthday. And he's like, hey, you got that script. Why don't you come by the club and we'll talk about it. I'm putting some money together from some Italians and we need a movie. Oh, maybe I will. And she does. She goes down to the club. Now, it doesn't seem like a regular nightclub. It almost feels like it's in like an office tower or something. Because you take the elevator up to it, and then you're at the reception desk, and then you go through this weird sliding door into the club.
Is this supposed to be a secret club?
Oh, I don't know.
It's only for the elite?
Maybe. Because the guy, so she goes up, she's like, hey, I'm here to see DaCosta. And they're like, no, you're not. And she's like, yeah. So she's like, all right, whatever. And she's holding her script. And then like an old man comes in with a young bride.
Good evening. You can bet your sweet ass.
And then DaCosta comes out and he's like, oh, Jerry Beth, what is her name? Pia Zadora, come on in, girl. And
this is the old man and his wife that we meet, that they hang out with later, right?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
This guy's got just straight white hair, and I think he's white.
Okay.
Or Anglo. Is that Italian too? Anglo-Saxon?
I don't know.
I'm going to disparage everybody on this goddamn podcast.
I have like very little energy for this movie. I don't find there's a whole lot to talk about.
Okay, so I will say that when she does go in and she's hanging out with this guy,
yeah,
she's drinking a drink and she's using like a 2.5 foot straw.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
I watched pretty much this entire movie in the kitchen of a group home.
Yeah.
It was 90 degrees. And I wasn't enjoying it. And there's lots of tits. So I'm uncomfortable. Nobody's going to see what I'm watching.
True.
They're all in a different building. But just looking at tits, it was not the best experience for this movie.
So effectively what happens is DaCosta takes a script, puts it in his drawer, and he's just like, let's have a good time. And she's like, I'm here for the movie, dude. And he goes, well, it's probably going to be about a year till I get all the money before I can pay you anything. And she's like, well, I'm fucking broke. And he goes, well, just work at the club. So she starts working at the club as like the house manager or something.
Yeah.
Some girl's like, oh, he wants me to go fuck someone and I don't want to do it. And she's like, well,
I'll take care of it. You don't have to do that.
And so she goes in there and he's like,
What do you think they work here? They all want to be actresses. This broad's got a chance to do herself some good. She's crazy.
She's also scared.
Scared chicks, I don't need.
So then we see them on like a montage date.
Yeah.
They're at the market. They come out of an ice cream store and their ice cream is already dripping down her hand. I don't know what the fuck's going on there.
Keep it under heat lamps.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So then I think they're just dating. She's working at the thing. And I don't remember how it happens, but
she's going to meet the investors.
Before that,
no?
There's a weird sex thing going on with like really weird synthy music playing. It's menacing. They're just in bed. He's going down on her and everything. And then all of a sudden, he's trying to force her to take cocaine. He's like slamming her against the bed.
Take it. I don't.
Take it. She's like,
I don't remember this. Did she take it?
It cuts away. So I guess at this point she's sort of doing drugs. And then he brings her in to meet the Italian investor. Who's
doesn't she have drugs in her system later? Like they test her or something?
Yeah, so I think that's what happens. He forces her, and now she's just a doper. Although we never see her do drugs.
No, and it's not conveyed really through her behavior.
At all.
She's not a good actress.
Yeah. So he's like, hey, this is the Italian old man, and this is his slightly younger woman.
Man, they might be. They're pretty. Yeah, slightly younger is probably the right word.
She's probably in her late 30s.
Do you think that
40s? I don't know, man.
I say she's like late 40s.
Okay. And he's like 60.
Yeah, he's probably like 65.
So he apparently.
She's hot.
She is. Oh,
she's
boy.
pretty hot.
So he's like, I speak no English. And she's like, so what did you like about the movie? You have the most beautiful eyes. And she's like, oh, what about the movie? Let's get out of here. Go back to the hotel. Oh, okay. And DaCosta's like, hey, I can't go. Just be nice. So they go back to the hotel and she's giving her a drink and she's like, what do you think about the movie? And the guy just sits down and gets into like, I'm going to masturbate mode. And the lady's like, I'm just going to strip your clothes off and we're going to have lesbian sex.
I am quite intrigued how she like gets pulled into lesbian sex twice in this movie. Like she went from never having sex as far as we know to being raped to being with this old man to having sex with this dude to suddenly Eating puss? I mean,
This
is pretty wild.
This felt like Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are
to
they
get
going
that
ass
get
to
that
ass?
H? Yeah.
Oh boy. But she comes out of the hotel room and she's just disheveled.
Yeah.
I don't think the dude was in on it at all. I think it was just the lady.
Watching them do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, God, what is this woman's routine that she just walloped this young lady? And he goes, thank you. Hey, you see yourself out? And she goes,
You don't speak English. Hey, what about my script?
what about the movie? Your fucking movie.
It's such a bummer, man.
Yeah, it is. And so she goes home and she's just in the shower. She's gagging. She's in her dress and she's just washing herself. And no. So before that, she goes back to the club to confront DaCosta. And he's got 2 naked broads and he's naked.
And he says, I'm naked.
Hey!
He says, I'm naked.
And he throws the script at her and he's like, we're done, I guess. So she goes home. She's doing the whole shower, puking. She's smashing stuff. She takes out the script and just shreds it.
Yeah.
And then she starts bashing on her typewriter and it's like a psychedelic fever dream.
Okay, yeah.
Colors are weird. And she's seeing like images of people's faces. They're like melting into sand and her face. She goes catatonic and ends up in the hospital because her neighbors called the paramedics. And she just won't speak. She's just staring off into space. And the doctor's like, I don't know what to do. And her mom's there. And that's when Walter comes in and he's like, baby, I care about you.
What happened to you?
She starts, and the doctor's like, oh, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, he touches her and she freaks the fuck out.
Yeah.
The doctor wraps her up in a bear hug and
She's
starts
fine.
saying it's okay, and it's what calms her down.
And then this is also when Guy comes back into her life and he breaks through to her. He touches her hand and he says,
You're not a loser. I love you.
And she slowly cries and looks over and she's healed. And so, she's getting better over a montage and Guy brings in the typewriter and she's like, oh, it's so painful, but I got to do it. And she gets out and she has now written quite possibly the best script
Of all time.
It's
the song that will change the world, except for it's a script.
It's the movie that inspires Citizen Kane is what I heard.
Nice.
Even though Citizen Kane predates this by
That's how good her writing
20,
is.
30. Yeah,
it fires into the past. It goes into every direction.
It
It's
radiates
the movie forever.
Yeah. And so Guy's like, well, listen, hon, I'm going to get you a meeting. And she's just like, no.
I'm sick of these. People always try to fuck me at these meetings. I'm
I wrote
sick
this
of them.
movie, but I don't actually want to do anything with it,
Yeah.
apparently. And he goes, bitch, get out there. And so she meets the guy and he's like, I want to get Valentino to do it. She's like, not Valentino. And this is crazy because Valentino, I guess, is the last name of the second guy she was with.
Valentine.
The guy that they're meeting, he goes,
Hey, look, kid, you're not in the movies yet, so wise up. You've already had 1 abortion, sweetheart. Don't make it 2.
He's talking about the script.
Same father.
So what?
Don't kill it before.
How the fuck does this guy know this random woman had an abortion?
Yeah.
And who would say that?
Nobody.
Don't abort. And the baby is your script, and he touches it.
Yeah.
So she's like, fuck it, let's do it. And she goes to meet
The financier.
He's an older sleazebag. And he goes outside and he goes,
Why don't you have a drink and we'll go over here and meet
my wife. She's in the hot tub.
Her tits are almost out entirely. Both of her straps are around her arms.
It's hard to tell at first because she's, like chest up.
And she's about 50.
Yeah. She's fine.
Huge tits.
Fine, leathery, tarnished ghoul. And so she stands up like, come in the pool, baby.
God, it's fucking crazy how everybody's just like, I mean.
And she does it?
Yeah, she does it again.
Has lesbian sex with this woman?
Yeah.
While he watches?
I don't know.
You must have some calls to make.
Right. Do they all just want to like taint her like young beauty? She just looks like a little teenage cheerleader.
I don't know, man.
What the fuck is going on in this world? I don't doubt that this is how it is either.
Well, and what is this?
This seems realistic.
What is
it's
this
just such
world?
a bummer.
Like, how do they decide? If it's a woman, the wife has dibs? Does she just fuck everybody and he just watches? Or
fuck if I know. I mean, yeah, what is the angle? What is with these power power women. I mean, what am I supposed to call them? I mean, I don't know. They do seem to be the alphas that are like, bring me fresh women.
Like vampiresses.
Yeah.
And so thankfully we don't see any of that, and it just literally jumps to the ceremony, right?
I would watch the awkward sex between them.
I'd be interested to see what
I mean, I don't want to see
hot
them
tub
be like
the whole time.
mean to her.
Is she
but I'll
gentle?
watch.
Yeah. Is she just lick
Is
her?
she not? Does she sit on her fucking face?
Honey, get the hose. And so we're at the award ceremony at this point.
She's up for best screenplay, and it's the same announcer from the beginning.
And they're like, the award or the category or the nominees. I got there. Walter from the beginning.
Oh,
the other guy she had sex with from the middle of the movie.
No.
George.
Not the actor, right?
Yeah, he's a director now, apparently.
I don't think so. I don't think the other...
They showed him, and he's with his wife.
Is he?
Yeah.
I thought he was just there. I didn't think he was one of... Okay.
And our leading man, Mr. George Ballantyne.
And then I don't remember if the other person was significant.
No, I thought there was two people that were writers that we had not seen before, but you see all the financiers in the audience.
Mr. Tom Castell and his wife, Joanne.
Yeah, and Adrian Shelley and...
What?
I mean, Pia Zadora.
Oh, yes.
And he goes, the winner is...
Pia Zadora.
And everybody just, yeah, it's my girl, right? He's there somewhere. No, he was he nominated?
No.
This seems stupid.
He's a director, bro.
I know, bro, but the other guy was an actor, and then he was the director.
I think you're wrong about that. I don't think he was one of the people.
Who cares?
Our director, Mr. Guy Jackson.
So she accepts the award, and she's like, I got to thank everybody, Guy. And it's funny, Guy, I keep thinking of the dude from Escape from Monkey Island. His name is like Guybrush Threepwood.
Is it it's a game?
Yeah. And then she goes,
I don't suppose I'm the only one who's had to fuck her way to the top.
Yeah.
And she goes, I can't accept this award, and starts walking off the stage.
And they boo the fuck out of her.
Get her the fuck out! Some guy says, get the fuck out of here! And they're just booing, and she leaves and walks off. And
for like a minute and a half.
They play the song Lonely Lady. Which the trivia stated the song in the movie is not the actual version that's on the soundtrack.
No. Damn.
They got a different
person
performing it on the soundtrack. It's an unfortunate movie. Probably because her husband financed it for her. And like I said, if they would have gotten a better actor and really dialed it back, this probably would have won somebody something. Even like a Farrah Fawcett or somebody would have probably done something with this movie.
Yeah.
Shelley Long. This was like just an after school special with a ton of softcore nudity in it.
Yeah, wildly inappropriate.
There's at one point where DaCosta and her, during this fever thing before he forces her to do cocaine, she's laying on her stomach, spread eagle, on a pool table while he's playing pool.
Yes.
And he like cracks a ball into her fucking fanny.
I was like, what is this about?
Like, watch your privates.
What kind of a sex game is this?
Right? Like, I'm going to take this ball and I'm going to hit you in the cooch with it.
I bet that feels great. No.
She goes, oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm kind of, this isn't a good movie.
No, it was hard to get through.
There's some fine moments and plot elements.
Mm-hmm.
I did like seeing
all that jazz
guy again. And now I'm hoping Anthony Holland. I'm hoping I see him more. Ray Liotta, I mean, it wasn't a fucking good part, but he killed it.
He did it, man. He did real good.
He's probably the best performer in this entire movie.
I would agree with that, man. His menace and insanity when he's attacking hers.
And you could tell, it's one of those moments where, having not seen any of his earlier TV stuff, it's hard to say, but the intensity on him in this movie.
Yeah.
There was no question that this guy is going to be something.
Did you watch the 35 episodes of General Hospital he did?
No.
Oh, okay.
He did 35?
I think he did, yeah. 35, 36. This movie is peculiar. I did not hate this movie.
Mm-mm.
It was hard to watch. There was moments where I kind of liked it when I saw her, when she's like on the phone and trying to like get some attention for her work, like trying to figure out what to do. That stuff was all right. Like when she was on the phone, I felt like she was kind of a good actress. Like maybe holding a prop helped her get out of her head a little bit. It wasn't as flat.
The brief moment between Walter and George in her little flat.
Yeah.
I'm like, this...
There's like a career movement happening
this
here.
is something.
But it is just about her shitty sex life and people taking... Not even her sex life, just being taken advantage of. I don't know.
And she even says, I allowed it to happen. And I don't know why.
Well, I mean...
aside from the Ray Liotta bit,
She's along for the ride. But I mean, everything's loaded against you, though, as a woman in Hollywood.
Very much so.
Those are her opportunities.
Very much so.
She chose to do them. But how much choice is there if you want those things?
I guess, man, and it's unfortunate, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
I know. Yep.
That's why, I mean, if this was, because this movie is, for the most part, well made.
Yeah.
It's just they didn't have a lot to work with.
It needs to be trimmed.
Based on, I'm sure, the budget, whether or not she even got paid to do it. And it could have just been like, I'm going to finance this, but you're not making any money on it.
She got like an 8-figure payout when she eventually divorced that billionaire husband.
Oh, I'd hope so.
They went till the 90s, I think, the mid-90s.
Yeah. So they're just, nobody in here is really of note.
No.
I mean, I liked seeing the guy from All That Jazz again, Anthony Holland, but he's not a good actor.
Tom Holland's dead. He's not a good actor. He's got a vibe to him, but he's not great.
He's charismatic. But he's not delivering conviction or anything. And so, I mean, there just wasn't the money. The director did as much as he could, I think. And
it looked good.
It did.
Copy that I had, we had watched the same copy.
We did.
It was good. It was crisp.
Yeah.
Like it was a good picture.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wasn't a VHS.
No. So, if we're going to do ratings, I'd give this movie... Boy, it's a toss-up, man. I think I'm going to give it a 5.
I was going to give it a 4. Okay.
I was thinking a 4, but I'm like, maybe a 5. I don't know, man.
I couldn't recommend it to anybody.
No,
I don't think it's. I don't think it's a Razzie winner.
I mean, who would want to watch this?
Yeah,
it's not for anybody.
It's not sexy. It's not particularly interesting. It's not funny. It is a little sexy. I will give it.
It's very sexy. That's the problem, is that it's hard to stomach or enjoy, I guess, the sexiness of it.
Yeah,
it's just rampant nudity, man. And moist shower scenes and shit.
That was pretty
cool.
But
yeah, you really got to endure some shit to get to that, and it's not worth it.
So I say 4, you say 5.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. I wouldn't, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go with a 4, because I can't recommend this. So a 5 would be a recommend, but.
What are you giving Ray J?
You know what? I'm going to give him an 8.
Fuck yeah, dude. Give him an 8. I'm going to give him an 8 too. He's like the only one firing on that level in this entire movie, which makes his performance all the better. And he's way over the top. Yeah, he's super fucking scary, but not over the top and unbelievable.
No, man.
His actions are insane.
His actions are just like, whoa, but you believe it coming from him.
Man, you always believe him, don't you?
You do.
He's really fucking something.
He is, man.
I like Liotta a lot.
Yeah, and I think for a while there I gave him a pass. Or I passed on him.
Mm-hmm.
After Goodfellas, I'm kind of like, I don't know. He's always a gangster, and then he kind of did like some minor lower budget stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know. But then I saw him in Narc, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. I'm looking forward to doing more Liotta.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, we got the podcast. If you like this podcast, send us an email.
If you're listening to this, we got this.
We made this for you.
So we are on Instagram on We Doing Filmographies.
Yep.
We are on Twitter, doing films?
Do Filmographies. Yeah.
Gmail us at we'redoingfilmographies@gmail.com.
We Doing Filmographies.
gmail.com. Hey.
This guy is trying to do proper grammar, and it's like that's not the name of the show.
You can go pee. But
We're Doing Filmographies, and then what do we got? YouTube.
Yeah.
I think it's We Doing Filmographies on YouTube.
Yeah.
And you know what, Jules and I think we both realize this. Maybe just make your own podcast so you can drag your little podcast icon next to the other podcasts you like, and look at it on your phone and be like, that's right, that's mine.
And so I guess that's it. Lonely Lady. He's been Jason. I've been Jules. We've been doing Filmographies, and I wish you all a very pleasant rest of your whatever. We Doing Filmographies is proud to be a part of the Now Playing Network. Find other great podcasts at nowplayingnetwork.net, like The Directors Club, where host Jim Laskowski and co-hosts dive deep into directors like Adam Egoyan and Hal Hartley at nowplayingnetwork.net.